I would like to introduce our guest minister for today, which is Reverend Marigene DeRusha. Now, I'm going just to say a little bit of everything that she has done, and I'm going to read it. Reverend Mary Jean was born in St. Louis, Missouri, as the seventh of eight Catholic children. In the 1970s, when she first walked into a metaphysical church, she was blown away. She has been with the Centers for Spiritual Living since then. In 1977, she moved to Seattle, Washington, and became a practitioner. In 1983, she graduated from the School of Ministry as a minister. After 5 years in ministry and co-director of the School of Ministry in Seattle, she moved to Marin County, California, near San Francisco, and took a small church of her own, which she built from 12 people to 150 people. While in the Bay Area, she became president of the CSL Ministerial Association and was the program director of the Ministers Association. Wow. What a journey. Beautiful journey. While in San Francisco area, she met and married in 1990 her husband, Reverend Larry DeRusha. She was then led to St. Louis, Missouri in 2000 and became the senior minister in St. Louis, Missouri's Center for Spiritual Living from 2003 until 2023. Reverend Mary Jean retired in 2023 after 40 years in ministry. Uh-huh. She started when she was 10. She lives here in Ajijic, Mexico, as a permanent resident with her beloved husband, Reverend Larry, who, by the way, will be speaking here next week, next Sunday, so you don't want to miss that. And they both, let me tell you something, they both have been major volunteers and supporters of Unity Ajijic. Well, we are very grateful to both of you. Now, before bringing here and welcoming again our beloved Reverend Mary Jean, let us prepare for a meditation by singing together our thoughts, our prayers. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Continue closing your eyes and opening your heart to that power and presence of the Divine Spirit. As we celebrate joy today, we celebrate that Christ presence that is love, hope, peace, possibilities, and that joy that makes you come alive to Spirit, as Spirit. Let's take a deep breath together and realize that that one power has brought us together today. for something beyond what our rational mind was thinking. We're together to have that experience of the divine, to allow that Christ presence to make itself known within us, as us, and through us. So I bless each one of us today on this journey of awakening, knowing that joy is our birthright, and that we live as and from joy. Knowing that's the power and presence of the divine, I bless each one of us on this journey. And so I let it be. And so it is. And now, Anya Vidal, Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord is strong. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare her own, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven nature sing, and heaven nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Fiesta y amor, ya el fin nació, el rey al fin nació. Alaben su llegada, abramos nuestro corazón. Hosana, gloria a Dios, Hosana, gloria a Dios, Hosana, Hosana, gloria a Dios. Siembra bondad, amor y paz, la tierra alegre está. Cantemos ante nuestro Dios, bailemos ante el Redentor, and heaven nature sing, and heaven nature sing, and heaven nature sing.
Thank you. Joy to the world. Let's give her another hand. Wow. How many of you like the season of Christmas? Raise your hand. And you know what? I want to acknowledge that some people don't. Sometimes it's a hard season to get through. But I want to give you some hints today that maybe will make it a little bit easier and better and more joyful. What I love about it is I love the story of the baby Jesus being born. And I grew up with that, being Catholic. How many of you were Catholic? Oh my goodness. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Half the room grew up Catholic. But I loved all the lights. Christmas to me are the lights. I would like to keep them up all year round, because that's the light that we are within comes up and awakens when we talk about that. One of my favorite Christmas stories is about this little boy, Johnny. And little Johnny was sitting there writing a letter to Jesus and said, "Jesus, I really want a bicycle. Please bring it to me." But then he crumbled up the paper. He said, "That's not strong enough. Dear Jesus, I beg you. Oh, and he tore that up, so that's not going to work. And he got up, and he ran into his mother's bedroom. And he got the statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary off of her dresser, wrapped it up in her shawl, and put it in the back of the closet and said, Dear Jesus, if you ever want to see your mother again. I think I have said that story every year for 40 years because it's, to me, just makes me laugh. And when you laugh, it's hard to be angry and laugh. The very first time, Larry and I had been married like 10 years, and we were living in Chicago at the time. And I got mad at something, and I normally don't get mad, but I was like yelling at him about something, and he yelled back to me. He had not yelled at me ever in the 10 years we were married, and I started laughing. I couldn't stop laughing because Larry is such a joyful person. I never even heard him raise his voice because that's that power of the presence within him, and that's the power within all of us. When somebody gets mad, laugh at them. Because that's that joy coming out. It dissipates any of that energy. So what does your soul need to renew itself in this season? This is the season of birth, not just for the baby Jesus. It's our birth. Are you ready to have a new birth this season? Raise your hand if you are. You ready? You know, a new birth means letting go of the old. Letting go of anything that's bothered you in the past. Letting go of anything that's going on in the world that you don't like. Letting go of everybody that's ever offended you. Letting go of anything in the past that creates an angst within you. And be willing to stand there and say, I am reborn as the joy and spirit of the divine right now. And I can accept that for everyone. Because I know that's the truth, isn't it, Kay? It's that rebirth of the joy and the love and the friendship and the kindness that we are. So, you know, growing up in a family of 8 kids is not always easy. But I want to tell you, I had it really easy because Johannes grew up in a family of 15 kids. So it always makes me feel like I came from a little family. Just 8 of us. Well, my father was a Lutheran. My mother was Catholic. My father was a Lutheran. My grandmother, who was this amazing saint, she was a Baptist. She lived to be 100 years old in 6 months. And she knew every child, grandchild, great-grandchild, and great-great-grandchild's name because we had a huge birthday party for her when she was 100. And everybody that came in, she knew who they were. But she taught me that there is only one God and many religions. Sometimes the Catholics tried to tell me that that was the only religion. But I knew it couldn't be true. And as a child, I was in Catholic school questioning. Oh, they didn't like my hand going up. Another question, yes, how can my grandmother, who's an incredible saint, not go to heaven when she's a Baptist, and I would go to heaven when I'm naughty all the time, just because I'm Catholic? And they would just look at me and go, where do you come up with this stuff? But it allowed me to open up to my journey because I wasn't locked into believing only one religion can do it. I knew that there was a lot more than that. So when I was in my 20s, I found the Unity Church in St. Louis, Missouri first, but it was far away. I'm in my 20s. I didn't want to drive that far, so I found the Center for Spiritual Living a lot closer. And from convenience, I started going to the Center for Spiritual Living in Clayton, Missouri. And I was amazed by the message. The message that said I can change my life. The message that says it's done unto you as you believe, and you can change what you believe. Now, I didn't know that. I just memorized the catechism, but I didn't question that I could change. So it was a revelation that I could forgive my abusive ex-husband so that I didn't have him back in my next life, because I learned about reincarnation. I had never heard of that word again. I knew that I could forgive anybody who had wronged me. I knew that I could have a vision of what I wanted my life to be like. I wanted it to be joyful. I wanted it to be filled with love. I wanted to dance on tables. I haven't done that recently, but but it changed my life. And I had a girlfriend that said, she was my best friend forever, and she said, Marigene, you are so different since you started taking classes. Now, in your 20s, you don't want to be different. So first I'm like, I'm not different. I'm the same as I've always been. And she goes, no, you're different. So then I said, okay, how am I different? She said, you're kinder than almost any friend I have. She said, you don't gossip about people. When we're sitting around gossiping, you don't say anything. And you always see the good in life. And you know it's good and getting gooder. I said, you know what? I can accept that. If that's what makes me different, I want all of us to be different. I want people to say, wow, you have a glow about you. What do you do? You know, I learned how to meditate. I learned how to pray. I learned how to do yoga. I learned all of this amazing things. So one day I was home visiting my mother, and she had this book out that said, How to Tell If Your Child is in a Cult. So it was a little teeny pamphlet, so I read it before I went to bed. And it said things like, they're happier than most people. They're more giving. They try to see the good in life. And there are 7 things that I'm reading, like, if I wasn't in a cult, I would join one. It was amazing. And the next day, the pamphlet was gone, so Mom knew I had read it. And she didn't quite understand about Jesus and metaphysics and New Thought. So one day I came in to visit, and she said, I finally get what you are. I said, what am I, Mother? She said, you're Jewish. And that made her feel good. That brought joy to her. So I let her believe the rest of her life that I was Jewish. And what's important is that we have expectations of good without any attachment. Sometimes we so expect good that if it doesn't come that way, we're so attached to it being only that way that we get angry when it doesn't come that way. But if we know there are no limitations and that there is greater good that's always available to us, but we have to let go of an attachment to how it comes and when it comes, just knowing that it's coming. Like when Larry and I decided we wanted to retire in Mexico, we went to, where'd we go? Rosarita Beach. And I thought, this is cool, I can start surfing. Because I had never surfed, and Larry used to surf in Rosarita Beach. But you know, it just didn't have that spiritual essence for us. So we left, and we went to Barra de Navidad for 2 months. They had 2 of the greatest bakeries. I wouldn't be able to fit in this room if we lived there. But it didn't have the spiritual community. So then my friend Kay Davis, who I've known for 45 years, she's also a minister at the Center for Spiritual Living. She retired a few years ago before me, but many years ago, she said. But she invited me to come visit her in Ajijic, Mexico. Now, I had heard about Ajijic because James Twyman came to St. Louis and did a one-man play on St. Francis. And we went out to dinner afterwards, and he said, well, you have to come to Ajijic, Mexico. I'm like, Why would I come there? Well, we're building casitas, and it's going to be this great place. And I'm like, well, let me think about it. Well, I thought about it, and I thought, no, we're not going to do that. Until Kay messaged me. And my brother-in-law, J. Scott Neal, who was also a minister, we had a lot of New Thought ministers in our family, had passed away, and Kay sent me a message saying, I'm so sorry he passed away. Why didn't you come visit me? I said, great, do you still live in Albuquerque? She said, no, I live in Ajijic, Mexico. Now, I'm one of these people that I see signs from Spirit. And when something comes up twice, I said, Larry, we were going to Jamaica for our anniversary. I said, let's just not go to Jamaica. Let's go see what this Ajijic, Mexico is all about. So we came to visit 2.5 years ago for 10 days, fell in love with it, came back for 2 months, fell more in love with it. And we got an apartment like 2 blocks from here because every week I wanted to come here and see my friend, Anne, who was living here, and we would come to the Unity celebration. Spirit knew exactly what she was doing when she moved us down here. This is a great community, a great bunch of friends, and a great place to grow and expand and love and practice kindness, practice joy, practice love, practice forgiveness. You know, one of the things Jesus always said, love one another even as I have loved you. And that's a tall order, you know that? Have you ever had a time when you really didn't feel loving towards somebody? Probably everybody. But when we get through that and remember the teachings and that Christ essence is our life, we are here to love. Love greater than we ever dreamed possible. So there was a story about a young woman that is a true story. She was in high school and her counselor said, don't even bother trying to go to college. You'll never succeed. You are not college material. Well, this really made this girl say, wait a minute. I believe in myself and I have a dream of going to college. So she applied, and sure enough, she was accepted to a college. And every semester, she would pay $2 to get a transcript of her grades and send them to her counselor, showing her she got straight A's all through college. And her motto was, push on. Don't let the appearance of what she told me stop me. Push on. I can do this. A few years later, she was actually in a boat that capsized off of Hawaii Island. She swam 3.5 miles to shore, the whole time saying, push on, I can do this. See, sometimes in our life, we give up. And we think, oh, we're too old, or we're too fat, or we're not pretty enough, or we can't sing well enough, or we think we're not enough. But you know what? Everybody has within them that spark of the divine that is enough. That spark that goes, yes, you are enough. Push on. You can do it. You are that power. So there's a quote that says, I am not moved by appearances, therefore appearances move. I am not moved by appearances, therefore appearances move. I love that because it means don't get hooked into what's happening in this moment. Let the appearance move on and something greater show up. So the whole message of Jesus was be like little children. What are little children? Joyful. Okay, and messy, but joyful. Little children are joyful. Willing to allow that dream that you have, like Martin Luther King had a dream, allow it to unfold. Allow you to know you are in your perfect place. And everybody you need for your growth is now showing up. There was one night, I was spending the night in my mother's house with my 2 children, and I hadn't been in metaphysics very long. And I was questioning. I had just recently gone through a divorce. How am I going to raise these 2 children? And that night, I was awakened, and the wall on the bedroom was totally gone. And I could see the veins in every leaf across the street. I didn't have my glasses on. I was legally blind. And here was almost the presence letting me know something is greater within me. And this presence filled the room. And what I heard, everything's okay. And everything is always going to be okay. And I went, great. And I turned over and went back to sleep. And I have forevermore that everything is okay and going to be okay. When you pray up, you know everything's okay. There's a story about Dr. Ernest Holmes. He was teaching a class, and the heater wasn't working in the big hall, and he came in and they said, we can't get it working and everybody's freezing. He went over to the radiator and he put his hand on it and he said, you know that I'm here to teach a class and these people want to stay warm. So what are you going to do? He said, my name is Ernest. You know what to do. And the heater started working. So what I would do sometimes when things aren't working, I go, God, my name is Marigene. You know what to do. And things begin changing and evolving into something greater than I had ever experienced. This is Marigene. Need I say more? See, when you're all prayed up, you don't have to say any more. I'm Sheila. Need I say more? I want to thank Sheila and Tim also for the beautiful flowers that are around this room. They brought those in today for our joy, so we can experience joy when we look at them. So there's just a closing story I would like to share with you that's one of my favorites. It's about this juggler in France. And he was an old man, and it was winter time, and he was cold, and it was Christmas time. And he's walking through the road, and he's not getting many people giving him money for juggling knives and balls and everything. He was fabulous, and he was hungry and tired, and he saw a monastery up on the hill. So he went to the monastery and said, can I just get warm for a little bit? And the monk said, come on in. So he came in, and he was sleeping that night, and he noticed all the monks were walking down the hall towards the Blessed Virgin Mary's chapel. And he stopped one of the monks and he said, what's going on? And the monk said, the monks are bringing their gifts to the Blessed Virgin Mary, and if she likes them, she will smile. And sometimes a tear will form. So all the monks had just spent months putting together their best whatever to present to Mary. And the juggler felt horrible. He's like, I don't have anything to give to Mary. And he thought, I will go in and I will juggle. And I will come from the greatest love and joy that I am, and I will juggle for the Blessed Virgin Mary. And as he's juggling, the room filled with light, and all the monks started running down the hall going, what's that juggler doing in with our Mary? And they walked in the door. And the statue was smiling with a tear coming down her cheek. Because that juggler did what he did from the heart of love, from the heart of joy. He gave his gift. And that's really what's asked of all of us, just to give our gift. And you know how when something overwhelms you and tears come? That's what happened with the Blessed Virgin Mary. She was overcome by this old juggler who gave his greatest gift from love. So during this Christmas time, feel that truth that you are that divine, that power within you is moving you forward. There was a man named Matthew Fox who wrote The Cosmic Christ, and he said, the cosmic Christ is you. It's the power within you. It's not something off there, it's you. And he was silenced by the Catholic Church because he wanted to bring all these people into his school in Oakland, California. And we were living in Marin County, California. So he was silenced for a year by the Catholic Church, and then he came out of silence, and Larry and I went to his talk. We were in the very first row, and he came and he stood up and he said, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, we are called, but few choose to live it. Please, you are all called. Live from that divine, that cosmic Christ. God bless you. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's listed in once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the pretty sight to see is that holy that will be on your own front door. A pair of hobble boots and a piece of dishes is a wish of a Barney and Ben. Don't start talking and wiggle or walk is the hope of a Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait to school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Run Hotel, and one in the park as well. It's a sortic and it doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bell will start, and I think that will make you sing. It's a carol that you sing right within your heart. Beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holy that will be on your own front door. Sure, it's Christmas once more.
Thank you so much. Love you. Let's give a hand to that band also. You are amazing. If I still had a church in St. Louis, I'd fly you there and then lock you up and never let you leave. You are so good. This is that time during the celebration where we get to share from our good. And part of sharing from your good is not giving 100 pesos. I used to think that was a lot when I moved here. It's $5. Giving means, what do you want to come back? One of my teachers, who was a millionaire, he would say, give till it hurts, and then stop, and then start again. Because if you want to have money, and you want to be able to retire in a beautiful place like Ajijic, okay, you already are, but you want to keep giving. So what I want you to take out your gift. I'm going to see what you take out. I mean, come on. It's like, do you really believe these principles work? And if you believe they work, then you have to work them. And one of the principles is you give and it's come back to you, multiply, pressed down, and running over you. How many of you know that? Yes. How many of you do that? Good. Because it's like we have to do what we know. So I just want to bless your gift. I'm looking. Knowing that what you give comes back to you, multiplied, pressed down, and running over. And so it is. Oh, and then you say this affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Joyfully I give, and gratefully I receive. Amen, amen, amen. E punto. And now, Navidad by Anya Vidal.
Campanas de metal, canciones del ayer, todo suena a campanas porque Dios quiso nacer. No existe el bien y el mal se ha vuelto bien. Las penas y alegrías van camino de Belén. Navidad, Navidad, hoy es Navidad. Es un día de alegría y felicidad. Navidad, Navidad, hoy es Navidad. Es un día de alegría y felicidad. La calle huele a amor, a prisa por llegar, a gente que viene que va a dar felicidad. Leña para brindar, luces para el Belén y leña para calentar a los que se aman bien. Navidad, Navidad, hoy es Navidad. Es un día de alegría y felicidad. Navidad, Navidad, hoy es Navidad. Es un día de alegría y felicidad. Navidad, hoy es Navidad, es un día de alegría y felicidad. Navidad, Navidad, hoy es Navidad, es un día de alegría, es un día de alegría, es un día de alegría y felicidad.
Qué bonito, gracias. Qué linda. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Now we are going to bless that love offering after. So we say divine presence. We are joyful and grateful today as we thank you for your ever-increasing and unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. Amén, amén, amén y punto. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear. Wow, what a beautiful service. That's why you have to come to Unity Ajijic every Sunday, because we have great surprises. Thank you, Reverend Marigene. Wow. Wow. You blew my mind. Whoa. Awesome. And please a big applause to Anya and our Unity Band. Well, in the Unity movement, prayer chaplains are trained volunteers who provide spiritual support through prayer for individuals in our communities who request prayer. And every Sunday we have chaplains available to pray with you. So today, the prayer chaplains available to pray with you are Chris. We have Chris here. Look at him if you want somebody to pray with you. And we have Flo. Where is? Ah, she was too cold, but you will know. She will be here. The prayer chaplains are always available here. She's wearing the purple also, as a prayer chaplain. So we have two chaplains available to pray with you. Now we have some announcements. Mark your calendars because a lot is happening at Unity Ajijic. First of all, I'm going to facilitate a class tomorrow here in this same place at 10 a.m. It's 1.5 hours. And the class is The Birth of Holiness in the World. Christmas in a Course in Miracles, which is beautiful. Tomorrow here at 10 a.m. Now, many of you may not know that I have been reading and practicing A Course in Miracles since I was a teenager. Last year. I have read it multiple times, seriously, like 28 times, 29 maybe. And I was also ordained by Pathways of Light, which uses A Course in Miracles as its curriculum. And that was before I became a Unity minister. I went to a Unity church for the first time to facilitate A Course in Miracles, and I was, wow, what is this? So what we are going to do tomorrow, we will explore the poignant view of Christmas in A Course in Miracles and how the birth of Jesus is seen as a symbolic reminder of the eternal presence of love, light, and innocence within everyone, within each and every one of you. And now, those who have attended my classes know that we will do exercises. We will release a lot of things that we don't need anymore. We will do a lot here during that 1.5 class. I hope to see you here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Our beloved Reverend Sheila have her class about the 12 powers, and this Thursday is the Thursday at 10 a.m. also here, and she will talk about the power of life. It's going to be really powerful. You don't want to miss that class. This is a preparation for many things that we are going to do during Christmas. What are those upcoming events? People have been asking me, why don't you say what we are going to have every Sunday? Okay. Next Sunday, here at noon, we have a special service. Well, like every Sunday. But this one is a moving Christmas service, which is also a concert with special music. And it will be Victor Valdez, Asael, our beloved Asael, which is an opera, beautiful, awesome singer. And of course, the band will be here. And I will be singing also. And the choir, exactly, will be singing. This is next Sunday, and we will have a special message from Reverend Larry DeRusha. He will join us, and we will continue Advent messages, and we are going to talk about love. That's next Sunday. Now, Sunday, December 29th, during the service, the following Sunday, we are going to do here our Unity's Burning Bowl ceremony. Reverend Sheila and I will do that special service on the last Sunday of the year. And what we'll do during a Burning Bowl ceremony, we release the past. We let go to everything that we don't want to bring in on the next year, on the year 2025. It's a great opportunity, that Burning Bowl ceremony. Now, January 5th, the following Sunday, we joyfully anticipate the new year and the January visiting ministers, Reverend Richard and Paula, his wife, Medici. They will be here, and they are going to do a white stone ceremony, which is under preparation. You write down with the power of the mind and the power of your heart and intention, you will be writing what you know that you are ready to manifest on 2025. There's no limit that we will do that on January 5th. Okay, and finally, I know by popular demand, people have been asking me when I'm going to facilitate Keys to the Kingdom. Well, I'm going to start Keys to the Kingdom. Many of you have taken that class. This is a 7-week class, and it's Wednesdays. We are going to start January 15, but on January 8, I'm going to do an introduction. If you don't know what Keys to the Kingdom is about, come to that introduction. And also, if you have been in my class, I have taught that class twice here at Unity. You want to come also to join everybody, but we will talk about that later. Now, you know that we have gifted musicians. Yes. These musicians that's what they do for a living. Our music director, Gilberto Rios, and the bass player, he has a group, and his group is called Speak Easy. It's the event. And what's the name of the group?
Hi, it's just I want to invite you to this concert we're having next Wednesday. Is with my band, with music that I compose with some of my friends. It's more like a jazzy, funky stuff, and it's a DJ set after. It starts 7:30 at the Garden of Dreams. I have tickets here. It's 150, and at the door it will be at 200. So in case you are interested, I have tickets here. At the end, we can talk. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you want to support our group, and now our Asael Medeles, the pianist, you know, he is the pianist, you know, CREM, C-R-E-M. This is a school of music, actually, for children. In it, Asael is the teacher of in piano, and is also the pianist of the group. Actually, his brother is the music director of the whole CREM thing. They are going to do a gala. It's called Gala de Invierno, Winter Gala, Friday, December 20th. That's Friday at 7 p.m. at Centro para la Cultura y las Artes de la Ribera. Asael also has tickets if you want to support these children. This is for children indeed. So you can talk to these two wonderful musicians and human beings and support them. And I understand that Asael also is playing with Gilberto as that day. Yes, Isael. Isael will do a special music. As every Sunday, we have fellowship at 11:30 and after Sunday service, and we give thanks to Olin and all of you who support the fellowship. And please go to our website, unityajijic.org, and subscribe if you haven't already, because you will receive weekly notices of our going ons. It's a lot. So you subscribe, unityajijic.org now. With this joy that we have in our hearts, let us send this awesome energy. So let's stand up and do our prayer for protection and send this beautiful, joyful energy to the whole world. So we say together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. 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 Y punto. Okay, let us sing the song. The prayer, because to sing is to pray twice. Together, I am the light of God, I am the love of God, I am the power of God, I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God, you are the love of God, you are the power of God, you are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God, we are the love of God, we are the power of God, we are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Okay, guys. Aha. Ready to sing and to dance more? Aha. And blessings to you, Susana, in your trip. Let every peace on earth and let it begin with me. Aha. Let every peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God's Creator, family, all are we, all of us. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let this begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on it, and let it begin with me. Aha! Let it begin. So, and let it begin with me. Aha! And let it begin with me. Bye. Let it begin with me. God bless. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. here. Thank you.